You know how I feel.
It's just backs on this mirror when they're trying to stave them off, but Mitchell coming in.
You know how I feel.
He's gonna take down Poison. He's gonna make it a 4v4 for Sneak.
You know how I feel.
That maybe not even Valkyrie herself, and she is aware.
It's a new life.
He's not aware that Envy's here, and Envy will pick him up.
And I'm feeling.
Also on 1 HP, I didn't notice that one.
And I'm feeling good. Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Oh.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the first quarter final here for season number. What season are we in? Season number 5. Season number 5 of Talent League. It's our first quarter final. I'm 2XB, or just Toot for the sake of this cast. I'm joined by Rick and Morty. We're not trio casting. Rick and Morty is one person. We'll call him Rick throughout the cast. Rick, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Toot. And I'm very excited for this game, of course, because it is the first quarter final of the playoffs. And we're going to see, well, we're not going to see the best teams against the best teams yet, but we're going to see what I hope to be a banger match. And it's going to be a match between Ruhrsports versus Team Ninso. And would you like to talk about the teams first?
Yeah, so I mean, as we look at the teams, Ruhrsports is our major league team, and Ninso is our minor league team. Ninso seem to do a fair bit better in the minor leagues than Ruhrsports have done in the major leagues, with Ruhr being at 4th position with 15 points, and Ninso being at 2nd position with 34 points. But Ninso did have the benefit of getting a hell of a lot of forfeit wins in their favour. I mean, to be fair to them, though, they did play, I think, 5 games. One of them was a draw. The rest, they won all of them. So every game Ninso has played, they have actually won, but they've had a lot of forfeits. When we look over at Ruhrsports, though, they've had quite a different result with some draws and a couple of losses as well against a few teams. So it's quite a different matchup, I think, here tonight between these two. And I don't know who I would pick as a favourite for me. I don't know who I would pick. What are you looking at, do you think, Rick? What, based on your knowledge, who are you backing today?
Definitely would back Ruhrsports just because of the fact that they're in the major league. So
yeah,
personally, I would see it as a major league as like pro league, and
the
minor league as challenger league, not directly. So there's a lot smaller skill disparity at this level. So a team from pro league would pretty much destroy the team on top of challenger league normally, is how it goes. So
I hope so.
That is at least what I expect. But Ruhrsports so far, while they haven't won a lot of games directly, they won about 2, I believe, and drew a lot of them. And they got several forfeit wins as well. So let's just not say they did not dominate. Otherwise, they would be at number 1. So,
yeah,
but they're at number 4. So overall, it's just that they can keep up with the major teams, is what I'm saying. And Noetic, they really show themselves to be able to dominate the minor league. If that's the case, then they should also be able to keep up with the major teams. If so, again, ultimately, that means there should be no favorites here. Anyone can take this map, in my opinion. And, well, not maps, the series, because there's 3 maps.
Yeah.
And we'll be looking at the map bans ASAP.
That's a very smooth segue. Yeah, let's talk maps. So 4 maps. Go ahead, Rick. Go ahead.
3 maps. I really, really wanted to see Bank. I mean, who doesn't want to see Bank?
That'd have been good. That'd have been good.
That would have been awesome. But I don't think that any of these teams have any strats on Bank. I don't expect it. Because, they almost always scrim Oregon or Clubhouse, because that is kind of what most teams play in Tier 4 anyway. So Bank is the elder ban. Chalet is also going, which is unfortunate. 2 very good maps. I would have expected to see it, but it's not happening. But Clubhouse,
from the teams.
Clubhouse is the usual map that is going to get picked, but that's not the first pick, though. The first pick actually will be Oregon. So obviously, who did see that coming. Oregon is always going to get picked no matter what in Tier 4. I just feel like every series will have Oregon, except best of 5. I mean, best of 5, we'll see. We see 5 maps, so we could potentially see an Oregon ban if the team tries to surprise the other team with more strats on the other maps. So, for example, if a team in the grand final is very strong on every other map, they can ban Oregon if they know the opponent is not very good on Oregon, without Oregon, I mean. So anyway, Oregon is the first map to go in. Ruhrsports will be attacking on that map first, and then we're going to be heading over to Cafe, a map on which Team Ninso will be attacking first, and then on our decider map, Clubhouse, which I said before, we're gonna see Team Ruhrsports defend. So these are all 3 standard maps. You know, you see a lot of these maps in play most of the time. As for pick rate, I believe Oregon is indeed the highest pick map in the entirety of Talent League last season. For percent, 24% of the games were on Oregon. That's fourth of all the games on Talent League. So, you know, it's how popular the map is. Next up is Cafe, 18%, and Clubhouse on 15. Between right there is Villa, which I guess either one of these teams just really don't want to play Villa. I think it's definitely Ninso because they banned Villa. But ultimately, the 3 out of 4 most played maps is come into play. We'll not expect any surprises here, but perhaps they will bring out several new strats. Who knows?
It'd be nice to see something a little bit different, but I mean, being that it's quarterfinals, after this, the winner of this game goes on to play Noetic on the 22nd, the 3 times Talent League champion. At this point, I would assume we'll still see some strats held back, unless it's starting to get pretty drastic for one of the teams and they need to pull something different out just to try and claw back a win. But I guess it depends on how comfortable the 2 teams feel as to whether or not they're going to bring out anything new or just default to standard stuff that we will have seen throughout the rest of the season or in other leagues as these teams play. So yeah, I mean, it would.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No. Go ahead.
Okay, I wouldn't expect any of them to save strats because the thing is, if you get into the top 4, you get a better prize pool, right? So if you get to the top 4, yeah, you can lose against Noetic. I mean, they're the champions. I mean, they're 3-time champions. Like, that's the G2 esports level of dominance, right? I'm not. I wouldn't claim that I know exactly how they play, but with that many Talent League wins, and you know, you just kind of know that they're scary. So they would definitely give their all in this matchup to get into the top 4, just because you can guarantee third or 4th spot if you lose against Noetic. And if they win against Noetic, that is big. And if they do that, I do hope that they did not save any strats, because then they would need. I just want to see all of the best strats played possible in these matchups. So don't save anything. Would be cool.
That's what we hope for in every game. We do like to see something different. I mean, it gets a little bit tiring seeing Jaeger on pillar, smoke sitting in freezer and all that sort of stuff, and just people pushing through blue and just trying to take it by force. It's nice to see things mix up a little bit. So yeah, it would be good to see new stuff come out, especially on a map like Oregon, where we have seen it so much and seen so many different combinations, or you know, of what is possible. It would still be nice to see something a little bit different come out from the teams, whether it's on defense or attack, either or. So yeah, hopefully we will see that. Before we went into maps, we talked about picking a winner or favorites. I think at that point it's worth talking about community polls. In the community poll, we saw Ruhrsports picking up 52% of the vote, with Ninso picking up 48% of the vote. So it looks like that the viewers and the fans are just as split as you and I might be on how this is going to go. Although you were backing Ruhrsports, I'm gonna I'm gonna back Ninso just because I actually know 2 of the players from leagues that I casted them in back from like a year ago, maybe even longer. So I have a bit of knowledge of a couple of these players, and I'm looking forward to seeing them play. So I've got to stay true to my. They'd be annoyed with me if I weren't backing them. So Ninso I have to go with today. But you're quite right, Rick. You'd expect the top of major to beat the top of minor, if not easily, then certainly a 2-1. So let's just see what's going to happen. Both of these teams will be very well versed when it comes to playing Oregon. It's just a case of who comes off better on it. And the same with Cafe and Clubhouse, like you said, they're maps that we've seen so many times. Every team knows what they're doing on this. We're not going to see anything particularly groundbreaking come out, I don't think. But hopefully we'll see something different enough where the two teams get thrown off and it doesn't just turn into an all-out frag fest. And if we can see overtime as well, even better. Even better. We'd love to see some overtime.
Imagine
And it's not
all 3
infinite, at
maps,
least.
all 15 rounds. We're not gonna get. I don't think we're ever gonna get infinite overtime in a quarterfinal, even the major.
No.
With the invitational, only the final game, the grand final, is where you get infinite overtime. But even then, I wouldn't expect anything like 22 rounds on Coastline. You know, the classic. That's not gonna
That'd be
happen
awesome. I'd
because-
love to cast that.
That would be great, but I think it's just not going to be possible because in Tier 4, none of these teams are going to have enough stamina realistically to play 22 rounds like that and then survive to the next map. So one of those teams would have faltered by round 17 or 18, I would expect, and then just be over. So no situation like that.
Yeah.
It's no situation like that's ever going to happen. But nonetheless, we're excited to see all 3 maps played. Hopefully,
It would be
Oregon goes
nice.
first, real quick.
Yeah, of the 3 maps, for me, to be honest, Oregon's probably the one that I'd least be looking forward to watching. So Cafe and Clubhouse are the maps for me that I'm excited to see. We can talk through the rosters as we get ready to start the game. We are just getting the teams into the lobby and then we will kick off. But just to have a quick run through of the teams and the players, or the players rather, that will be playing for Ruhrsports. We've got Matrix. I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. It's MTRX. So I'm going to call him Matrix.
It is. I think
Cool.
it is.
Excellent. He's the captain. Then we've got Risky. We've got Fox. Nice, easy names. We've got Hey Man, which I really like. I like that. I don't know how that's going to work, just shouting out Hey Man throughout a cast. I guess it's kind of like, what was that player? There's a player in a Pro League team, and I can't remember his name, but it was similar to that. And Icox. Not sure how we pronounce that one.
Icox, let's do Icox because the
Call him Icox. Yeah. And then for Ninso, we've got Den, who is the captain. We've got Toucan. We've got Luqueta. I could get in trouble for that one. And we've got Chicken and Reverse. Now, Chicken, I believe, is actually a sub that's come in, or not so much a sub, but has been brought in just before this game. So I don't think we've seen Chicken make an appearance on Ninso in Talent League this season yet. So this could be an interesting one for the game tonight, and could also help tip the scales a bit more Ruhrsports' way if there's a newer player joining their opposition, because obviously you'd assume that Ninso isn't going to be quite to full strength or capacity at this point. But we'll see how it works out for them as the maps play out. I'm sure they'll have given Chicken plenty of time to warm up and get used to the strats that Ninso will be running. So we are just waiting for one more player. Sorry, go ahead, Rick. Sorry,
I wouldn't be worried about him getting warmed up. The only issue is that if he has chemistry or not with the team. So sometimes, most of the time, the substance wouldn't really have a lot of chemistry with the team. If he did, he would be the actual player and not a sub normally. So the question is, how much time have they given Chicken to gel with the team? How much time have they developed together? Because if he's only read strat book and haven't really done any dry runs or experimenting with them, then that is a big issue, because chemistry is basically everything in this game. And at this level of gameplay, honestly, strats, how good your gunner is, how well you play on the map doesn't really matter. It really doesn't. If you have chemistry, it is so easy. I've seen teams play ranked strats and destroy entire stacks consistently by just having a
Fnatic versus EG, for example. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a Pro League example, but even a Tier 4. A Tier 4 is very common. A lot of teams think that strats, oh, look, we have this very cool strat book. Let's just deploy it without actually giving any hindsight. And it doesn't work out because another team could just play around it because they have chemistry and you don't. So, again, like I said, I'm just ranting here about how important chemistry is and how Ninso might suffer from it. But I hope they don't, because if they do not suffer from it, then we'll see 3 awesome maps. But I mean, I'm speculating. I don't really know if they've actually done any of the team bonding or not.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You could have 5 individual players playing on the blue team, But there's a big difference between 5 individuals playing together and a team. There is a big difference between the two things. You can, assume that you could just wind up 5 people and just send them off on their way, and they'll be able to work their way to victory. But like I said, the chemistry is important. If you don't have the mentality, if you don't get the calls that you need, calls are just as important as game sense sometimes. If you get bad calls, then that can go against you just as much as not getting a call at all. I'd rather get no call than a bad call, for example. And if the teams don't know what they mean when they talk to each other, or the players don't know what they mean when they talk to each other, and they don't build that chemistry, then it does make that big difference. The team that can play well together and get on together and have fun together is more likely to beat the team that has all the strats in the world but don't like talking to each other, for example, and don't work well together. So you're absolutely right. And it's just a case of seeing how well these players have bedded together just to take this win today. A win that Ninso really need to get.
And Oregon is also the map that would come out on top most of the time, because it's honestly the most stable map in pool right now, especially in tier 4.
Yeah.
Everyone knows how to play it. Everyone has exhausted all the strats. Everyone has all those play styles locked down. Even the pro. That's why you don't see Oregon in Pro League that much anymore. So that's why everyone knows how to play it. So who's gonna come out on top if everyone has all the same strats? The answer is, of course, again, which team plays with the best chemistry. So who can back each other up more often? Who can help flank watch more effectively? Who can help rogue clear better? And
Yeah.
gun skill, I wouldn't expect to be much of a. I mean, it could be a problem if the other team has simply someone who is a better gunner. But at pro league level, and most of the time in tier 4, it's not really an issue. So again, just bond your team. And well, that is all what I have to say about the chemistry rant. I have to say, we're still waiting for no one, I believe, to join the lobby.
We've got all of our so I was just watching the game lobby, watching the chat. We've got all of the players are in. We are just about getting ready to start off the game. I think we'll probably be starting within the next 30 seconds or so. Don't quote me on that. I'm just guessing based on what I'm looking at. It might change. Just waiting for the man in the ear to tell me exactly what's happening. But we do have everyone in, and we will be ready to go very, very shortly. And you won't have to listen to me and Rick waffling on anymore about maps and strats and chemistries and whatnot. So just as a reminder,
about how they play instead.
so just as a reminder, this is the first quarterfinal for Talent League Season 5. We've got Ruhrsports versus Ninso. 52% of the community are in favor of Ruhr, 48% in favor of Ninso. We are going to start on Oregon right now and see if all of the stuff that Rick and I have waffled on about for the last 20 minutes or however long it's been is going to come true. So we're going to go into the map bans. What are we expecting here? Rick, I'm expecting a Maverick ban at least, but what do you think we could see here?
Thatcher.
What would you want to see?
No chance, Thatcher. It's just going to be Thatcher. It's not even close. It's 100% going to be
Thatcher as well, obviously, yes.
It's obviously going to be Thatcher.
Goes without saying.
Who hasn't seen that coming?
Ageism. It's ageism. That's what it is. It's because he's old. That's why people get rid of him. Bless him.
Also,
I'd like to see a Maverick ban.
He's an S tier operator. Honestly, I expect Flores ban because they're defending, so they would not want to have that Flores corrupt the shield. But Sophia is a curious ban. I mean, she's strong. She is still very strong, despite the nerf to her assault rifle. She is still a very strong operator with her utility. And a vigil ban, curious. I mean, Team Ninso, they are defending first, so that obviously dictates that they will not be playing vigil, so they're gonna ban him out. So it's not a problem for them. But if Ruhrsports go on a defense and they try to defend with a kind of intel play, so they will play roam with the vigil, then maybe their strat just got upturned. But they will probably find a way around it, so it's not going to be the end of the world. Now we're going to be heading in with a Kate ban as our final ban. So obviously standard, if you ban Thatcher, you have to ban Kate. And yeah, it's just the Thatcher and Kate ban, or just everyone knows about it. It's nothing new.
Yeah,
ever.
I was going to say Ninso going with the standard ranked or just standard, standard bans, whereas we're bringing out something really different. Vigil, I'm not too surprised about. You see a Vigil ban every now, but I don't know that I've ever actually seen Zofia banned. That's a really interesting choice. I can only assume that it's to take away the utility of the lifeline, perhaps for that long range destruction. Rather than banning Ashe, let's get rid of Zofia because she's got that flexibility for entry with the lifelines. Maybe that's what they don't like. I don't know. It's an interesting choice. It's an interesting choice. I've never seen it, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they work around this. But meeting hall and kitchen is going to be first. Sorry, go ahead, Rick.
I would have expected the Sophia ban to happen when she still had a laser beam with an AR. But now that it shoots all the way up to the ceiling, it shouldn't have been that impactful because even with the LMG, a lot of the gunners would have been nerfed because you play best on what gun you feel the best on. And the LMG doesn't feel that great. So it would have been very detrimental to whoever's playing Sophia. And ultimately, I wouldn't have thought it to be the best ban, but they're not running the best setups anyway. I would have honestly expected for them to always have the Florist on play in these matchups because the Florist is so strong on Oregon. You can do almost anything with him on his map, and it's just not showing up. I totally expected that ban to happen, and it just didn't come. But again, Team Ninso aren't playing the standard way either because they're going to meeting first. It's not the site that you pick first, you know. But what if they have maybe they have a really good strat here? Then that's why they are coming up.
Yeah, I do like to see teams play offsites first. I always find that very interesting. It's the kind of thing I'd like to do myself is just play offsites to throw the enemy off because obviously Ruhrsports are going to be expecting that it's going to be an attic or a basement hold for the first site. To go to somewhere like meeting should ideally mean that the attackers are going to bring possibly the wrong lineup. However, as it works out, Ruhr has bought a lineup that I'd say is actually fairly flexible and could probably work for any site. But being meeting hall and kitchen, we are going to see a top floor hold. Makes perfect sense here. And it's going to be reverse playing upstairs in the attic, trying to hold back those players for as long as possible with Toucan backing them up. Grenades are going to go out, but ADSs are actually in there, which is going to stop them from doing too much damage. But the push sledge is going to come out and reversed is going to reverse that and take him out as he's going to get some pressure applied further from the window and also from the breach that is getting opened up at the end of attic. So first pick goes to Ninso. That's a great start for them. Let's see if they can keep up this pressure on the attackers. Although they have now taken control of attic, it seems.
That was a fantastic use of the Maverick torch to take out the shield. That should have been done. The sledge should not have jumped in. That was honestly not the best call. You had grenades though, and you had flashes on your team. But hey, that's a great flank watch though from Heyman. That is a great window to peek from to deny the flank up from the main stairs. And they would have had to have the drones there to see it. So they denied the ability for Denko to come up and try to attack back into attic and retake it before it could happen. And now it's a 4v4, but it might as well be a 4v3.5. Well, now make it a 4v2.5 because Reverse is on 10 HP, but Lakera is on 0 as he's been taken out. The Melusi cannot sign up, but here comes Reverse. He is peeking into attic. He's trying to find a pick here, but he is very low HP. If someone on drone sees him, he might as well be a dead man. Oh, but Reverse, he doesn't let him get taken out. Now, the Mute will peek out into the hallway, but he gets taken out, and now it's all onto the shoulders of Toucan. He's in a 1v3. He's not going to even get the first shot, and he's going to get swung with a G8. Matrix will get the double on the round for himself. Absolute close out there from Ruhrsports. Even though there was an attempt at pushing back from Ninso, they just really could not hold on, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a great open pick there for Reversed up in the attic as Jaeger, and a nice second kill for him as well to pick up the Maverick, I believe it was, through the hole that Maverick had created himself. But unfortunately, you can't rely on one man to do all of the work, and the rest of the team just sort of collapse around him. They had the hold set up downstairs. And I think Ruhr put a lot of effort into taking that attic. They lost a man while doing it, but they managed to eventually get that control. And then as they started to drop down into sight, it's just they'd taken out enough players on the side of the defense where there was just no resistance, and it was just a case of just cleaning up Toucan playing as Smoke, who was pretty much out of utility, I think. I think he'd already used his last gas grenade, so there wasn't much that Smoke was going to be able to do. But despite that, we are going to see Ninso have a second go at Meeting Hall and Kitchen and give it another try. They're not going to switch it up and go to a standard primary site. They're going to continue going to a tertiary site, which is very, very interesting to see. And I'd look forward to seeing if they're actually going to change anything here or just stick with what they had.
I think it's just a problematic setup because they're going with the same setup again, so we can talk about it. They have a shield inside of attic facing the attic wall, so they can try to hold the hatch from above. But the issue is, of course, we just found out that Maverick Torch can't reach that from the window and destroy it with these completely bypassing ADS. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Why are they still putting the shield up there? They know it's going to get taken out with no effort. So what is the idea behind this? Because it doesn't make sense. If anything, they could have rotated that shield to the meeting double, you know, the split, and you can hold with the shield with the smoke and the ADSs and deny the plant on stage because most teams will try to plant on stage. And you cannot deny that from above because most of the time the attackers will have control of attic, so you cannot just waltz back in to try to deny it. Your smoke against a very structured team would be the best option, but Ruhrsports are changing their minds. They're not even going to go attack this time. Here comes again the push from Icon. It's not going to work out. And now 2 kills will be picked up by Team Ninso as they are put immediately in a 3v5. It's not looking good for Ruhrsports as another player is taken out. Reverse gets a double on the round, I believe, and now it's honestly this round has already gone over to Team Ninso unless Heyman can get 1 kill, which he does, but Danko gets 1 kill and makes it a 1v4, and it's so difficult now for Maverick to clutch up. And he gets 1 with the mute going down, but it's now a 1v2 as the Aruni peeking out aggressively will get taken down, but that smoke grenade will prevent him from pushing up, allowing the smoke to get revived, and now making it as a 1v3 again.
It's a nice adaptation from Ruhrsports to try something a little bit different, but it just didn't really work out for them. I feel like they probably would have had more success if they'd have just tried the same take that they did the first time. Ninso have done a great job of reading what's coming and just picking players off one after the other, but they need to do something here because Heyman's just got a 3k and he's on 5 HP, and I think he's pretty much been on 5 HP since he started getting kills, so to allow 3 players to fall to a player that just needs a bullet in the toe to take him out of commission isn't really where Ninso want to be. Den is very low on health himself. We've got 1 minute left to go. We've got 1 drone in the pocket of Heyman, so we've still got all of the intel to gather. Denko is in trouble, so it could fall to reversed here to clutch this one for his team. We can see that Den has moved back to site along with reverse to hold up and not do anything silly. Den is going to hold on to this doorway, waiting for the push. We know that Maverick has got no way of getting in there because he's used both of his grenades, I believe. The only way he's going to get in is if he jumps a drone through there. He hasn't got the health to run through, but it doesn't matter because he's managed to sneak his way into kitchen and he is starting to plant. Reverse thinks he hears something. He's going to move in to try to deny it. It's too late. The plant is down, but Denko is going to manage to get that kill onto Heyman, and Reverse is going to start disabling that diffuser, and Ninso are going to put one in the win column, making it a 1-1 at the end of round number 2. So a beautiful hold there from Ninso, where, like I say, I think if Ruhr had just done the same thing as round number 1, they probably would have done better.
I think you really nailed it in there with the 5 HP. I think that was the most crucial part. He didn't actually start out killing with 5 HP. He had about 70, but then he took a gunfight against the smoke and he got put down to 5 HP. So the smoke managing to deal that much damage with the SMG-11 won Ninso the round, that for sure. If he had more HP, he could have clutched it, but it just doesn't happen. Once you're put down to 5 HP against competent opponents who can crossfire you, you have 0 chance. I mean, even on 70 HP, you would have no chance if they could properly crossfire you. So ultimately, like I said, that round was already lost as soon as they got put in a 1v4. And it looks like Team Ninso aren't snackers. They are not giving them these 1v1 directly. I mean, some of them are, but when it came time to really close down the site and play safe, they really play safe. So again, if that was a throw and they lost that round, I don't think anyone would forget that ever. It would have gone down in history as the clutch of all time, because
yeah,
you know, you can't lose that.
Yeah, I think what we've seen from the last 2 rounds is that Ruhr do seem to play together a lot. I mean, both times we've seen them push, it's been pretty much 5 players just stacking up together. So it's going to be very difficult for Ninso, if that's the way Ro are going to play this, it's going to be very difficult for Ninso to find those individual gunfights. They are just going to have to be a team where they either stack up together 2 against 4 or 5 and hope they can whittle down the numbers that way, or just a case of, with their own game, pick off a player, back out, don't over-peak it, and just make sure you get in and get out and don't do too much. And we can see here that Ninso are actually stacking up together pretty much close to site. We've got 2 players, I think they're on the first floor, with the rest of the players downstairs actually on site, but they are very close to spots where they can fall back to site easily. And they are going to do some work here, taking out these drones to deny the intel. But we have already lost Den very early into the game. That's a Rooney out of play, which isn't really what Ninso want, but Den is the team captain. He's going to be able to keep watching those cams, and he's going to be able to give those calls to his team. So it's not a completely lost cause having Den out of play, but it's not something that Ninso needed to happen quite so early on in the round, and that does give a real advantage right now. With 2 minutes left to go, they've still got 3 drones available. That's not good drone economy from Ruhrsports, to be fair. At this point in the game, just having 3 drones left is not it's not ideal for a team at Ruhrsports level. Let's see if they can turn that around and put those 3 drones to good use and start to make their way down to Laundry for what looks like a pretty standard setup by today's standards. We've got the reinforcements with the head height holes covering Freezer, and I think this could work out well for Ninso if they can just be patient with the players pushing. But we are getting a Laundry take as Gemini's start to come down that staircase. And we can see Twitch following it closely, ready for an assault here. Diffuser is not in the hand of Ruhrsports, but they are getting ready to collapse onto site. And it looks like the push is going to come from Freezer, with the Laundry players just being a distraction.
Bomb located by attackers.
Yeah, it's Matrix with the kill to take down Chicken. Down goes the Mute, down goes the Shotgun, but reversed with a nice shot back onto the wall to take down the Ash. But now it keeps getting worse and worse for Ninso, despite the attempt at a pushback, as will be Laketa next to go down, making it a 2v4. Reverse is also on very low HP. If he tries to take this gunfight against Iana, I think he's a dead man. That gun does a lot of damage, and it will hit you like a truck. And he's trying to hold the line. But if he peeks out, he's basically dead. And there it is. Risky gets headshot nonetheless, so it wouldn't have mattered if he had any more HP. Reverse now gone. It's 2 gun in a 1v3. He has to push back to the site. He has to retake. But that cannot possibly happen if 2 players are still alive and watching all of the entryways. Fox should get the diffuser down any minute now. He has to. As the ace, there it goes. And now the attempt at denial will fail. He does not know where the diffuser is going down as he tries to push back into the site. He gets caught by Icox. The Twitch with the F2 cannot be defeated. And now Ruhrsports are up 2 attacks on Oregon.
I think we saw a slight, I think as that plant first started, I think we saw a slight bit of damage being done to Ace, and he had to reposition. His health went down just a few ticks, just as a gas grenade went off. So I guess he was going for a plant a little bit closer to the default spot just by electrical, or actually more close up, tight to the wall adjacent to highway, and then just backed out and moved somewhere else. And that was the play for him, as they managed to get smoke on that rotate to try and deny it or get back to diffuser. So a great play there from Ruhr. They worked together well, dropped back into sight, or dropped down into sight, had a nice split to assault Ninso from both sides, and it worked out really well. Ninso just didn't know what side to pay attention to, and it went against them, and Ruhr managed to get a very nice win on that one. So a much more confident round for that round number 3 than we saw in round number 2 from Ruhrsports, that is for sure. We're going to see Ninso head back to the same site, give it another go. Looks like Ninso are just going to be one of those teams where if you fail it once, they'll just give it another try, and then if they fail it a second time, they'll probably back out and head their way up to kids and dorms. But for now, Laundry and Supply Room is where we go for round number 4. Let's see if we get a huge adaptation here from Ninso, or if we're going to see Ruhrsports adapt like they did in round number 2. As we said, it didn't go too well for them in round number 2 when they adapted and didn't try the same strategy or the same push. Let's see if they will just stick with what worked for them last time, or if they will try something a little bit different.
Adaptation is honestly not the word for Team Ninso, because they are playing the same strategy.
No.
Last time they moved that shield because they knew that the attackers were going to come into Freezer and main stairs. So of course they moved it, but ultimately the same setup is in play. Now that might not be a bad thing here, because we've seen that when Ruhrsports attack the same side again, they go for a different approach. So if they go for bunker this time and go on the back side, then it might work. But that doesn't seem to be the case. They might go for the same attack again, and for that reason, Team Ninso might suffer. So they will have to adapt for sure, because they still set it up so in a way that they can hold the backside. And reverse going down like that very early on the roam is not what you want. You should have adapted this roam, but it's not working out because again, you're just losing them so quickly. So aggressively played is not the way to go. And now the mute is playing again. He's gonna fall back down, which I might say could be the right call, but I mean, the top 4 is being swarmed anyway by attackers. He would not have had a chance to hold it. So ultimately, he decided to preserve his own life instead of playing for a few more kills. Because if he did play for those kills, then he would die and be put in a 3v5 for his team. Now, Laqueta has a different idea though, because he is still playing on the first floor. He is on the backside of tower. And the thing is that Team Ruhrsports, they never check the backside. They never have anyone go to the back of tower, so the fight from Laqueta might happen. But the thing is that there's a bit of an issue. All 5 members of Ruhrsports are alive, and there's no one watching fight, I believe, because normally when it happens, no one is watching fight. But I mean, but at least right now they're putting all the kills on the board, so Laqueta would have to pull off a flank of a sentry. But there's a drone, and the Maverick taking in a gunfight, he misses all of those shots, and now he has to take a peek with the pistol, and he wins it anyway. A triple for Heyman. Now it's a 1v5 for Team Ninso. This round is over basically. I don't think Tukun has a chance. He has SMG-11. You have to find 5 kills in a row, and that gun has only 17 bullets. He doesn't have a chance. He's gonna try to peek out to hold the line, but he's getting peeked by the pistol, and Matrix will make it a flawless round as Ruhrsports are absolutely dominating right now. Team Ninso are not even being given a chance on the second time they try this site. None at all.
Yeah, yet again we see Toucan being left in a 1vx and it's not working out well for them. Ruhrsports are doing a great job of shutting down the roam game early, whether it's going to be Den or Reverse that are getting picked off first. Ruhrsports are just doing great work at shutting down that roam in the last couple of rounds at least, and round number 1 as well. We saw there a bit more of a split from Ruhr, I feel. It was like they came in from different positions. They didn't all spawn together and push in from one way. They pushed in from, I believe it was the caravans or junkyard, whatever it's called, and also from the street or car park area, pushed in through the front of the building and just worked their way towards that freezer staircase and also the freezer hatch. And they did leave the Goyo up, like you said, in tall tower, unchecked, completely unchecked. They had no idea he was there. And he was primed and ready to take that flank and get in behind the enemy and take them all out with a quick flick of the Vector. However, it was so unfortunate for him that that drone went into meeting when it did, and they just managed to spot him. He didn't even realize, and before he knows it, he gets peeked and just shot down with a pistol, no less. And yeah, I mean, that was going to be the flank of the century for him, but it just didn't work out due to that unfortunate roam, that unfortunate drone rather, that got put into just the right place at just the right time. So unfortunate for Ninso. Great work to Ruhr there for some very patient teamwork as they just methodically move their way through the building, shutting down their operators that they need to, just whittling down the numbers until it got to a manageable level, and then just taking control of site. And we saw at the end, they just stormed in. They knew there was no way a smoke was going to take down 5 players. They just rushed in, knew what they had to do, took care of business, and closed it down nice and quickly. So a great round there for Ruhrsports as we now finally go upstairs to kids and dorms from Ninso, where they're going to try and turn this around and start to put more rounds on the board for them. They're currently at 3-1. They're going to want to win the next 2 in order to make things a bit more balanced as we go into the second half. Let's be fair, Oregon is pitched as being a defender-sided map. Only slightly. It's one of the more balanced maps that we got, but it is slightly more defender-favored when you look at most stats. So ideally, Ninso would want to go 4-2 into the next half, but they're not going to be able to manage that at this point. The best they can hope for is a 3-3. Let's see if they can buck up their roam game at this point, although Laqueta is looking dangerously close to death as he is trapped here in Armory right now. But let's see if Den can support him and maybe help him to last a little bit longer than he has done in the last couple of rounds.
Ruhrsports are not making a lot of progress right now, except for making the Jaeger go down to 10 HP per se. They should have done better in terms of roam clearing this setup in Armory, and now they're trying to take the gunfight against him, but he will get away with it again. But he's very low, so it should be an easy kill if they try to lead in, and that is exactly what Riskier is going to try to do, but look how it will get taken out from below the Matrix. So Ruhrsports, even though they had a very slow start to taking out this player inside of Armory, taking 1.5 minutes to do so, they got 2 kills. 1 kill will come back from the side of Team Ninso, making a 3v4, so still very winnable. The thing is that is the heart breacher. So Reverse jumped out from the breach and took out the ace. He gets thrown out. He might be a dead man here if he tries to jump back in. I don't think he has a chance to survive here. Oh, what a shot! Reversed! What a GN there. And now he will not get a second kill as he has to fall back in. And he will have to hold the side of his team. Well, here comes the push in from the Nook. And now, Reverse does not know where he has to look because he might get swung any minute now from any angle by this player. Here comes the Nook. He gets spotted. He gets a lot of damage put on him. But here comes a fight out. Oh, it does not happen. Reverse misses those shots. All of the players on Ruhrsports are now on 1 are basically on 1 HP. But he can get these kills if he survives 1 bullet or 2. He does have a 100 HP. He's gonna make it a 1v3.
What a clutch! Well done, Reversed. Reverse turned that around completely.
I cannot believe that just happened. He was allowed to take a 1v4, I believe, because they just gave him 1v1s. So they peeked into the site and they kind of knew where he was. But instead of doing the classical swing on me, when when you want someone to swing on your call so that you get a crossfire, they just sat there and gave him 1v1s, even though they were all on 1 HP, which meant that he had an easy time with the MP5. He was 100 HP. And even then, they also allowed him to push out into Trophy and put them all down to that much low HP. Where was the information from Ruhrsports? They had everything going for them, and they just flopped completely. Reverse is on 9 kills now. He is leading the charge for Ninso, and even though most of Ninso have no kills whatsoever, he is doing all the work for them. And right now, as the star, he might be the one to win them the map if he can keep going like this. Because Ruhrsports, if they want to win this map, they cannot be that sloppy again. They have to be more active. They cannot slowly push in and try to take 1v1s like that against a Melusi with an MP5, which is honestly one of the worst guns in the game. Not worst, but worse, as in it's bad. It's a bad gun. You should not have allowed that to happen, personally.
Yeah, that was a great turnaround from Reverse. Like you say, I mean, you've covered it all. There's not really anything for me to go through. He shouldn't have been allowed to get away with it, but he did. Den needs to give Reverse a pay rise after this game, I think, for that performance. If Reverse can keep doing that, he's almost at the point of 1v5ing Ruhrsports and winning this game solo if he could do that every round. But you can't depend on it. We are going to see Meeting Hall and Kitchen get played again, and we are going to see the same setup coming out from Ninso that they tried in round number 1 and 2. That didn't work for them in round number 1, but did work in round number 2 when Ruhrsports mixed up their attack. However, this time they are reverting to the same sort of assault that they brought out in round number 1, so we could see this one actually going the way of Ruhrsports again and making a 4-2 split at the end of the first half.
Oh.
Laketa just turning his back on Dirt Tunnel or Blue like that isn't going to help. Clearly there was intel in the hands of Icox as he runs up, gets that kill, and then just dashes back and goes back onto his drone. So a great play there from him to be able to get that early pick onto Laketa. Laketa hasn't been hugely impactful, certainly not when it comes to kills in this game. The impact from him mainly has come out from his utility, whether it's been Goyo Shields or the Melusi Banshees. And the team are going to be relying on that utility. There we go, there's that shield getting taken down again. Ninso have learned nothing from it. But Laketa's utility is going to be pivotal as Icox is going to take down Den, so that's another roamer off the board, and that's a huge part of the defense for Ninso. Just torn apart already, only halfway into the round. We see ourselves as a 5 versus 3 with the frag grenades getting warmed up, but there are plenty of ADSs there to hold back those grenades, so I'd be surprised if we see that player in Attic fall to a grenade just yet.
Well, so far Ruhrsports have managed to put themselves in an absolutely favorable position, especially now with Matrix getting a 3rd kill for his team. Reverse and Chicken are the last 2 alive, and this round is definitely not going the way of Ninso. Push into a meeting. He sees the player cross. He cannot land the shots. The R4C has a lot more recoil than it did before, but the plant can safely go down now if they try to do so. The bulletproof can get taken out, and now the ace is in a perfect position to get covered from any angle, and there's possibly no way for Ninso to deny this. Reverse and Chicken will have to pull off the play of the lifetime to get this site back. And it's 5v2, and so far they have not done a lot at all. Chicken is going to push up from the bottom of the tower stairs. Oh, Reverse with his 10th kill. He's not gonna get a second, as Icox will shut him down with an absolutely massive play on the Nuke, and the mute will go afterwards. So ultimately, that round was won off the back of the Nuke on Icox, who got a triple kill there. He got 2 opening kills for his team to make it an easy push into the site, and then most of them just had everything else covered as they pushed for the plant. So a great amount of teamwork there from Ruhrsports to take that round to make it 4-2 on the half. So very favorable, but it could have been 5-1 if they did not flop that top four attack they did previously, letting him clutch the 1v3 like that. So Reversed could not push up, could not come out for his team this time, but he might still on the attack. We'll see.
Yeah, it was. I mean, realistically, yes, it should have been a 5-1 at this point, like you say, due to that previous round where we saw Reverse just doing God's work at the end of it there. But he did what he did. It's now 4-2. We are where we are. We are going to see the sides turn around, and we're going to see Ruhrsports going to launch in supply room for their primary site a little bit more common. I'm interested to see what kind of setup we're going to get here. We've actually got a vault hole there in the main wall on elbow. So normally you'd have a crouch hole with 1 reinforcement and a shield setup with smoke behind it. Looks like we are going to get the default setup on... We are going to get a pretty default setup on elbow because we do have the ADS there and a rotate along with a single reinforcement. So I suspect we will see a smoke playing there. We've got your standard Goyo shields on highway. Where I suspect we will see 1 player in freezer. We've got the ADS in freezer ready to protect that 1 player that's going to play there with the shield in the doorway to allow the player in freezer to kind of cover pillar as the push comes down the back stairs, which is very common. The most common assault for this site is going to be a couple of players through blue, a couple of players coming down the back stairs, and that's how most teams attack on this site. And it looks like the setup from Team Ninso is geared up to take that kind of assault. The question is, are we going to see... Sorry, the setup from Ruhr is set up to take that kind of assault. The question is, are Ninso going to play it rank style and do that, or are they going to mix it up and maybe come down freezer? The Lion EE1D is going to get sent out, but it's not going to find any players as it's too early in the round. Everyone's just going to sit still as they buy their time and start pushing their way into the building.
I don't know the way things have shaped up so far. Looks like most teams have given up on attacking the backside. So when they push up to the front like that to go down freezer, like Loketa, he will get punished by Matrix on the Goyo. And here comes the roam on the side of Ruhrsports. There's a player on the top floor. He's gonna try to go back down, but he's gonna get the kill. Fox, he gets away with his life too. The missed shots. The absolute sloppiness from Ninso right now to just let these players get up and get these kills for free like that. You had someone on the roam get the kill onto the player inside a big tower with no refract potential, and you had someone playing on freezer side again with no refract potential. If you had a proper roam clear, you could have crossfired that Goyo, so if he did kill the Buck like he did, he could have gotten traded out by any of the other players, but they were just in Narnia. They were not watching it, and they just got punished now. 3v5 so early on. The roamers on the side of Ruhrsports are doing the best possible thing that you would want for the team. And now it's looking very desperate for Team Ninso. And
yeah, that's a beautiful roam from
down,
Fox. Yeah, it's a beautiful roam from Fox there to get that just great rotate out from the top floor, drops down, finds themselves a kill, gets back to site. Shouldn't be allowed to happen, but it did. It is what it is. Reverse is going to be the last man left standing, and before I can even finish it, Matrix has got all of the kills, just bending his way past bullets through time and space as if he was actually in the Matrix. He's going to clear it up, and that's another round on the board for Ruhr, who now go up 5-2, just 1 round away from match point. And I kind of feel like I'm still supporting Ninso just because, but I see that Ruhr at the moment are really outclassing Ninso, not just when it comes to strategy, but to gunfights as well. It feels like the main way that Ninso are going to get through this is by just catching Ruhr by surprise. The best way at the moment, it seems, for Ninso to win their gunfights is just to shoot Ruhr in the back of the head. Rather than try to take one-on-one gunfights, because it's just not really working out for them that well at the moment, unfortunately.
You're right, you gotta shoot them in the back of the head. And how do you shoot someone in the back of the head if they're taking 1v1? You have a crossfire. And like I touched upon before, they're not doing that properly, so it's not gonna happen. And now that Team Ninso know that Ruhrsports prefer to play in their faces, so they like to run straight at the enemy and take these 1v1 because they know they can win those. You're gonna have a lot more pushback against those. I would have expected a pick onto Nomad or something. Nomad would have been a great pick to prevent a lot of these flanks, a lot of these push-ups, anything. And she also has flashes and the ARX. Everyone loves the ARX. So again, Nomad is a solid operator that you could have picked to push back against Ruhrsports because now you're 5-2. If you got that 4-2 to a 4-3, then you'd be only one round away. So you're less demotivated. So Team Ninso should have won that last round if they want to keep their momentum. But so far, their momentum has been completely destroyed by being down 5-2. So they could have to pull off an absolute miracle here if they want to push back against Ruhrsports because they need that. And now, again, Ruhrsports playing the Roam. But on the other opposite side of the map, there is someone inside of Dining though. So he is ready to push up against the Iana. He gets Loketa again though. Again, the Goyo and the Buck, the same exact pick as last time. They just go down. No trades inside of White Stairs, and Denko is also taken out by the Aruni. Again, Ruhrsports are just playing against Team Ninso directly, running straight at them, and they win. And Ninso is not doing anything about it. No trade, no flank watch, no air jabs, no claymores, nothing. They're gonna try to make some desperate utility play here by taking a grenade to try to nade someone they know that is under that hatch, but they're not gonna get anything out of it. Chicken is still trying to hold the hallway against the Goyo push, and Goyo might time it. He has to time it correctly if he wants to get another kill for his team, but so far he doesn't need to. If I was Goyo, I would just fall back aside because I've done all the things I need in the world to win this round for my team. And now a double kill from Matrix. He is unstoppable right now. Ruhrsports are playing perfectly, and there's nothing that Ninso can do about it except getting one kill against Cox, who goes for an overly aggressive peek. He gets taken out. 4v2, but it's looking still desperate for Ninso. Oh, the C4, there it is. Matrix with a triple, and it's all over. It's pushing to match point for Ruhrsports. Tuikun doesn't have a chance against Matrix. Matrix is unstoppable. He is carrying his team on his back right now. And reversed, he has been completely quiet. He can no longer carry his team. Ruhrsports came out on top with a 6-2. This map's definitely just gonna go straight for Ruhrsports if I'm honest. And there's no tactical timeout for them to break the momentum and, well, you know, as they say, get their shit together. So I definitely would call that this map is basically done for, unless Ninso can pull off the comeback of the Sentry. But if they do want that to happen, they need to focus and they need to realize what they're doing wrong here, which is specifically letting Matrix getting these 1v1s one after another. It's just should not be allowed to happen like this.
Yeah, so I mean, it's worth remembering that this is Ruhrsports' map. Now, the way it goes in a best of 3 is it's ban ban pick. Now, Ninso defaulted to banning bank. No one wants to play bank, and I guess Ninso just wanted to make sure that map wasn't in because they've got nothing for it, so they banned it first. And that allowed Ruhrsports to pick Oregon, which I'm guessing maybe Ninso aren't too comfortable on. So on Ruhr's map pick, I would expect them to be taking. We'd all expect them to take the win on their own map. We don't know what Ninso are like on Oregon without looking back through a whole load of history, but it seems that Ruhr just outclassed them here. We could see something different when we get to Cafe, which is Ninso's map pick. That remains to be seen. Everyone knows how to play Cafe. It's a very formulaic map. We could maybe see something different, but you've got to win your gunfights. And at the moment, we just aren't seeing Ninso really win the gunfights. As we have the benefit of this full UI up on the screen now, which just disappeared. We can see that Chicken was up there on 10 kills with the thank you very much, Mr. Observer. We can see that Reverse has actually got more kills than the rest of his team put together. And Reverse has only got 10. So they are just really relying on Reversed here to do a lot of the work for them. And then, like you say, Matrix over on the other side, Matrix has got 16 kills all to himself, doing a hell of a lot of damage for his team, and really doing the work that they need. But we've got a nice little hold from Fox up here. He's just going to keep challenging that window, but then he's going to fall back, and that is going to keep Den here wondering what's going on, and that's going to hold him back for quite a while. But we get the double kill from the C4. Just a frag grenade comes in through that window to take out Heyman, who is playing behind the shield up the small tower. He's not going to die to the grenade, but he is going to die to the bullets from Reverse Gun, which is something that 9 other people or 10 other people now have done already in this map. And he is just another one of those statistics that falls at the hands of Reversed. 4 versus 3, 1 minute 45 seconds still left to go as Ace, played by Tukun, has just taken a little bit of damage with some cheeky little peeks coming out from Aruni here on this front door. On match point, Ruhrsports are clearly feeling confident. They've got the buzz, they've got the hype, they're ready to go. Tukun is going to go down to the Aruni and get finished off with a pistol from such a distance. This is beautiful work from Ruhrsports now as they go to a 4 versus 2, and it's looking like with a minute and a half left, there isn't really much that Team Ninso is going to be able to do. They've got no diffuser in hand, they've got no idea what's going on with Ruhr, and I just don't see that Ninso are going to be able to turn this around. I think we're looking down the barrel of a 7-2 here. Although Reverse does manage to take down one, he takes down 2. That's the triple. Is he going to find a? Is he going to find a 4th? Can he ace to win this? They still have no diffuser. It looks like Ninso are playing for kills. Matrix is going to fall as well. Are we going to find Fox going down? Matrix isn't going to get revived. Denko and Reversed could have this sewn up. Even though they don't have the diffuser, they can still get the kills. As we do see Fox starting to push his way in. He's going to open fire, but he's not going to do the damage that he needs. He does manage to get the revive onto Matrix, though, who is going to have a cheeky drop down to the laundry and is going to rotate around through the back stairs. We can see Reverse pushing his way through to security, but he is going to fall at the hands of Fox. Denko manages to get that refrag, and it's just an almost full health player playing against a very low health player right now. Denko still has no diffuser. He's going to play for kills in the last 20 seconds, and Matrix just needs to play this smart. He cannot afford to lose this gunfight, or we do get to play another round. Den has a lot of work to do, and he looks a little bit confused right now about what he wants to play.
There's no
He
diffuser.
doesn't know where Matrix is. He has no intel. He has no diffuser. He's got 7 seconds. He's going downstairs. Den, what are you doing? Matrix is going to get him.
Not
No,
like this.
There's no rotate to
Not
sight.
like this.
Operators, you are out of time.
Oh. Oh. Rip.
That was a barn burner of a round. That was amazing. That could have gone all the way to Ninso, but that was the most anticlimactic ending possible you could imagine, you know, for any map to end like that.
It had
I
potential
mean-
to be so great.
I mean, props to Matrix for surviving that last few seconds, but Dan was he was desperate. He had nothing to do. He could not get the diffuser in time. He could not find a player. He had no intel. It's nothing. I really expected Ruhrsports to lose that round, throwing it like that. So many 1v1s against Reverse, and he wins those. And then the kill from Fox to take down the Iana on Reversed, that was the turn back. That was the point where Ruhrsports really cemented their win there. But it could have really gone to Ninso. Could have been a comeback, but it just didn't happen, because ultimately it was still the Reversed show on Team Ninso. Reverse was the only one who was doing everything in his power in that round to save his team, and he did honestly more than enough, but his teams didn't. And again,
Yeah, I
ultimately
don't think
that map.
Ninso. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think Ninso can ask for any more from Reversed. He did so much work in that map. Never mind just that last round, and also that other round where he got the 3K or whatever it was that he did, where we were really supporting him. He did more than enough for Ninso, and unfortunately, it was the rest of the players that let them down. I mean, Ruhr in that last round, they had so much control. It was theirs. The writing was on the wall. It was like, with a minute left to go, it was like, hey, this is Ruhr's round. I was pretty much already writing down 7-2. And then all of a sudden, Den and Reverse just somehow managed to come in, do a whole load of damage, and get it down to that 1 versus 1. And Den kind of had the advantage. But he just threw it away with, I guess, just a lack of intel and not knowing where that player was. He allowed himself to think that Matrix was playing a cheeky off-site play and just playing for time, which to a degree he was, but he was on the other side of the site. If Den had just gone back, got the diffuser, walked his way into dining room, he possibly could have got away with a plant. Possibly could have got away with it. But it is what it is. We live, we learn, we move on, we go to cafe and we try something different. We're going to have a 10-minute break. I don't know if that's us having a 10-minute break with just the teams. It is. We don't have to talk for 10 minutes. Excellent. Man in the ear says that you don't have to listen to us for 10 minutes.
Thank you.
So
man.
we are going to have a break. Yeah, thanks, management team. We are going to have a break for 10 minutes. We will be going to cafe next, which is Ninso's map pick. So hopefully we'll see, Ninso do a lot more work on cafe than we saw them do on Oregon. I'm looking forward to it. While you're waiting, have a drink, have a snack, whatever you need to keep yourself busy. Don't leave the stream. And just make sure you're here for Cafe for Ruhrsports versus Ninso in the first quarterfinal for Talent League Season 5. We will see you back here very, very shortly.
You know how I feel.
It's just best on this mirror window trying to stave them off, but Mitchell coming.
You know how I feel.
He's gonna take down Poison. He's gonna make it a 4v4 for Steve.
You know how I feel.
That maybe not even Valkyrie herself, and she is aware.
It's a new day. It's a new life.
He's not aware that Envy's here, and Envy will pick him up.
And I'm feeling.
Also on one
and
HP, I didn't notice that one.
And I'm feeling good. Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is a
Maybe other operators, other enemy players that he's able to pick off. Nako here is also very aggressive, and he's gonna make sure that he's free. As Clutcher here is also on 1 HP. I didn't notice that one. So two of these players are really low, and Nako is, I don't even saw that there was a player behind that one player, and he's gonna get a quad kill here. It's Shippo. What's happening? He's just running around him in circles right now. It looks like he's bulletproof.
And half HP. He's even more disappointed to get torn away, but a lovely turn as he kept some form of information that they know the plan. Sky's on that Ash, a lovely run-up and catching the kill. Searching for more. That fire gas force a blade son of a gun like didn't have the bullets. He swaps the pistol, still picks up the triple kill. It doesn't matter. The fire tap for the quadra kill. A flawless round.
It might really make a difference here, but Echo is alive. Blue is still with the yokai drone up, and the gas canister is gonna go out, and Echo is gonna deny the plan. They're gonna have to back up. There is no chance. Another canister is gonna deny something right now. If he wants, the gas canister is gonna finish off the sledge. What even happens there? Tapway's gonna push out from the beach. He's gonna get a headshot on top of the gas canister. He's gonna start running as well. Blue is gonna deny it again. There is no way this is happening right now. Blue is doing everything. They should have killed him with a nade, but they weren't able to. The people from below. They won't be able to deny. They are gonna be able to smash and really bring it back home here as he gets the first kill, and he won't be able to connect with the second. Echo is gonna win it out on 1 HP. Blue just did everything for his team that he should have done.
But they're gonna be caught down, and Salvo's gonna find one. And the plot's gonna be down. If they get the caught down, it's gonna be the game, but it's gonna be 2. And the plot's gonna be down. It's a rock, it's a happy. Oh my god, it's all coming down in this offside sediment. The plot's gonna be down. It's gonna be a 1v1 situation. If Sheriff manages to keep this alive, they are ridiculous. Oh my god! Oh my god, what a clutch! Oh my god! What a clutch bucket! They've been gaming the first win of the whole season with them, and it's all on Chapapi's hands! What a game this was! What a game!
2 on 5 is a quick swing. Nako will put it into a 1 on 5. Nako trying to hit the deck, but he cannot. They're not looking too good. Getting that gone onto the Banshee. Another onto Sky. This went from out of the realm of possibility to winnable.
He's gonna just keep face checking here towards Memo. Looks like everything is clear, but he doesn't know that there's a player behind the bomb. He's gonna able to get the headshot, man. A quad kill for Alex right now. He's gonna be looking for the last one. He doesn't have the user yet. So remember that. What the name? What is that?
And welcome back, everyone. It was a short 10-minute for me, but we are back to the second map of the the quarterfinal, the first one of the playoffs. We're going to be heading over to Cafe. Rick and me is 2XP as like the last map, as usual. Hello.
Hello, how you doing? Hope you had a good break. Hope everyone had a good break.
And I got a few things to drink, but anyway, we're gonna be heading over to Cafe. And well, right off the bat, what would you expect from this map, dude?
What do we expect? We expect attackers to start on the roof and work their way from top to bottom. That's what we expect. I expect a Thatcher ban. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Valkyrie ban. I don't know about what other operators would be taken off the board. I expect Bar and Cocktail to be played first. I expect there to be a player in the freezer. I expect all sorts of stuff. I want to see lots of Aruni play. I'd like to see some Flores coming out. Flores on Cafe, I think, is actually very useful because you can sit up on the roof, particularly when it's a Bar and Cocktail assault. You can sit up on the roof, drop those little Flores drones in through the skylight or down through the hatches, take out the utility that you need, clearing the way to start pushing into the site. Cafe is one of those maps, though, that's been played so much for so long. I don't think there's really much we haven't seen. Based on what we saw in map number 1, I think I'm probably expecting Ruhrsports to take a win. I'm not sure it'll be as close because everyone knows Cafe. I know everyone knows Oregon as well, but everyone knows Cafe. It is Ninso's map pick. So I think it will be closer, but I think based on what we've seen, if Ninso can't sort out their gunplay in that 10-minute break that we've just had, then it's going to be a Ruhrsports win again. I think this is going to end up being a 2-0. Our delectable host, Trippin, called it before we started the game, where he did say it was going to be a 2-0 possibly to Ruhrsports. There you go, Trippin. I outed you. Everyone knows now that you favour Ruhr. But I'm starting to think that he was right. I'd like to see Ninso do a lot more damage in this one. I think we might maybe see a 7-3, a 7-4. I'll give Ninso the benefit of the doubt. I think they'll do better on this map, but I'm not sure they'll take the win.
Personally, I would say that they could have gotten a better chance if they started on defense, but they're not starting on defense. Ruhrsports gets the opportunity to start on defense. So far, they have shown themselves on Oregon to be a lot more solid. A lot of winning 1v1s. So far, Ninso, the attack on Oregon, if it's any indication to go by, it's not looking good.
It was lackluster.
Continued, very lackluster for sure. And if it's gonna be a trend going into the next map, this could even be a 7-0. But I don't expect that to happen. They could definitely churn out a few rounds here and there. Wait a minute, isn't Ruhrsports defending first? Oops.
Oh, hello. Do we need to rehost? Oh, no. Nah.
Oopsie daisy.
F in the chat for... I think we're going to continue the bans. We'll let the bans play out.
I don't think you're going to ban seriously because we're going to rehost.
And then we'll rehost it. Well, looks like we're going to continue the bans. So, all right. So we've got the Thatcher, which we'd expect. Zofia again. So it looks like... Ruhr just do not like Zofia and they're going to take her out. Will we get another Vigil ban, which is who they banned on Oregon? It would make sense. It would make sense. And seeing the amount of drone work that Ruhr put into it, kind of makes sense. That's why they would take Vigil out. But there's the Valkyrie that I was expecting. So we've got the 2 bans that I predicted. I'm no genius, so I think probably everyone predicted those. But who is going to be the second defender is the magic question. It's going to be Mira.
Oh, I was going to call Kate there, but that's going to be problematic because they don't have a Thatcher. So, Ruhrsports... Okay, so we're going to be rehosting. But so far we know that the 4 bans are Thatcher, Sophia, Valkyrie, and Mira. So, on the easy bans first. A Valkyrie ban is standard. You just have to ban her on this map. She's so good. You cannot play against her on this map. Everyone does it. Everyone knows how to do it. Now, the Mira ban is, it's somewhat standard as well because you have players playing in Cocktail, playing the Mira window, looking into Bar and holding the default ban, holding the entirety of Bar with a single window. She's a pretty strong operator, And in kitchen, you could have a bakery setup and so on. So there are a lot of opportunities to play Mira on this map. So it can happen. And now the Thatcher ban, everyone met Thatcher. It's not even a question. And Sophia ban, that's the curious part, right? Because you could always substitute Sophia on this map. There is the strength of Sophia is that she can solo clear a lot of things. So on Pixel, for example, with the ADSs and the shield, she can solo clear that on her own with all of her utility. But it's been a while now since anyone realistically played that setup anymore because it's really not that strong since the nerf of Jaeger and Womai. So do you really want to ban Sophia? I mean, she was gonna be strong on Oregon on the blue shield setup, but on this map, there's not really a lot of places where she can be a one-man army. So she could be easily replaced with Flores, with Ash, with Iana, with the nades, with Sledge nades, with Maverick nades, every kind of nades there is. It's just a lot of utility. The Sophia ban is just honestly not the best option. I would have not seen it that way.
I'm certainly interested. I feel like we will be doing an interview with Ruhrsports in about 40 to 45 minutes from now, and I'm it's certainly on my list of questions to ask Ruhr is Sophia WTF. What is it you don't like about her? I mean, like you said, one woman army. She can just, especially with an LMG now. I mean, I know you were talking in map number 1 about the LMG throwing players off, but in my mind, apart from the fact that, aside from the fact that it's got a slow fire rate and doesn't have an angle grip, and therefore it's a little bit slow to pick up and takes ages to reload, the fact is that you've got so many bullets that you can just fire down. She's like Rambo, right? She's like the video game version of Rambo, the closest thing we've got to it, where she can just storm into the site, just blowing stuff up and just hailing bullets down all around the place. She is a very good operator. So on the one hand, it makes sense to ban her, but like I said, in Oregon, it's not a ban I've ever seen. So it's still very confusing to me as to why they don't want to play against her or play as her. We've all got our favorites. I just think there's probably better operators that you could ban rather than Sophia that offer a lot more utility that you should be scared of than just maybe some lifelines and an LMG, in my mind.
There's one thing that really strikes me so far from these is that they honestly haven't adapted that much to the current meta yet. So with Flores and play, with Flores and play, everything could be so much different. And with the mute nerfs as well, it could all be a different kind of game style. But they're still playing with the same setup, so they still going with Sophia, or not Sophia because she's bad. They're still playing with Iana, Sledge, Ace, the classical 3 operators, and then Hibana. It's been that way for an entire year. It hasn't changed at all. So I'm not always a fan of seeing that kind of same setup being played over and over again. I've always loved to see more of Nomad, of Flores, of Jackal.
Versatility is fantastic. Yeah.
Because ultimately, I don't think that while grenades are definitely a necessity, there are other utility that you can really use. It's just not grenades. Because with how things are trending, everyone's only playing grenades. It feels like the only piece of utility in this game are grenades, and the
ADSs negate the grenades anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like none of the utility feels special. Like way back when grenades weren't super duper like important. I mean, they were always important, but they just weren't this crucial as they are right now. Everyone could play different ops. You had Class, you have Capital, you could play any other operator, and now you just have to have someone on flashes and grenades and nothing else. And sometimes you might mutate that setup and play a different operator, but it's not always going to be worked out to the best effect. So now that we actually do have that meta back now where we can play any op and we'll be fine. So you have a lot of drones on Flores to destroy utility, so you don't even need to break that many grenades as you previously did. You could play someone else, but again, none of these teams are playing Flores, which is just a bit disappointing because I love to see Flores. I think I would love to see some creative uses of him, but it's not happening right now. And I would not expect it to happen within this playoffs, at least.
Yeah, more throws is what we need, but based on what we've seen in Oregon, I think the two teams are probably the kind of teams where they're going to bring a very similar setup for every single round, regardless of the site they're playing. They've got their operators that they're comfortable on, and they're going to go for them, that's for sure. So in case anyone's wondering, we are just resetting up the game, we're just getting the band set up, we've got the players coming in, and once they all come in and get readied up, which should be very quick, we were ready to start, right? So as soon as the players come in, we'll get the game back underway. And you can watch what they come up with. Now, because we're presetting the bands, we don't have to worry about band phases like you say there, Rick. Or we can just get straight into it without any messing around.
Personally, I would have just rolled it again, the band phase again, because what if they just did a placehold ban so that they can like, okay, if we ban it right now during a game will be rehosted, they will have about 10 minutes to think about what they would do against those bans. So they would have they would have held those bans personally. So I would have liked to see the band phase redone again, but you know what? They probably did go with it anyway, so we're fine. So we're gonna be heading into the map with the same bands. We can skip it entirely, save ourselves some downtime, and get straight into the action as we are waiting for everyone to get into the lobby. Most of them are now, so we won't have to wait that much longer anymore. And well, I ran out of things to say. Do you have anything else to say too?
So yeah, the players are almost in. We've got probably about 50% of them here right now, and they will be joining us momentarily. So let's get back to Cafe where we are playing now. Now this map has been played 12 times out of I think it's like 66 games in the league.
Yes.
So that's 18% of the map picks that we have seen here in this league so far. 18% of them have been Cafe. It's a very popular map to play. It's a map as old as time. I don't think there's ever been a point where it hasn't been in the competitive map pool. Even before it had its rework, it was still there. But with the rework, obviously now it's just a little bit better. It's been so long actually since the rework. I can't remember what it looked like before. I think it was only the top floor that was changed downstairs.
No,
and
everything was changed.
Everything, even first floor. It's kitchen different now.
Kitchen was different. Bakery was different.
I can't even remember.
Red hallway is different. Do you know that what is now wedding used to be part of bakery, and the entirety of bakery was a site, and you could plant on bakery door. That was the site back then, which is like.
Oh yes, yeah.
And
Monty push in, plant behind. Yeah.
And there were 2 windows.
I've been playing since Velvet Shell, and I can't remember.
There were 4 windows on bakery, if I remember correctly. So that side was pretty much like really bad, honestly, because from the looks of it. So you would definitely have had to play a smoke there to deny the plants. But it's just it was a really bad site back then. So I'm glad they moved it into the actual kitchen itself. It's better that way.
Makes sense as it is now. It makes perfect sense. I look at it now and I think, well, why would it be any other way? But anyway, it is what it is. Okay, so like I say, Cafe, been there for a hell of a long time. This is map number 2. We need to see Ninso take a win here if we want to go to map number 3 and have a 2-1 scoreline instead of a 2-0 scoreline. If we do go to map number 3, it's going to be Clubhouse, which is a slightly less picked map. It's been picked 15% or played 15% of the time in this league. So not quite as popular as Oregon and Cafe, but it is still one of the more popular maps for people to go to. Now, we do have all of the players in the lobby, so I think we will be kicking off in just a few seconds, and we will be able to get back to seeing what these two teams are going to do. Now, we do have Ruhrsports starting on defense, as we talked about the first time we loaded into this map. That's going to give them an advantage. Cafe, a lot of people at the moment actually like attack, but I think technically Cafe is still slightly defender favored. More so than Oregon, that's for sure, which is more balanced, but Cafe is more defender sided. So for Ruhr to start on defense is going to give them a bit of an edge. They went 4-2 up. Yeah, 4-2 up at the end of the first half on Oregon, which was the map where they started on attack. So starting on defense, I see no reason to see anything different. And we talked about Thunderbird in the break, and Thunderbird is coming out. Will she get 6 picks though? That's the question. Are they going to stick it?
I am actually very happy with this entire these both
Flores
these
as well.
teams right now.
Oh,
She's
we
going.
got
Oh,
baited.
she's going.
Big
No.
sad, big sad.
That could have been the first time she got played. Thunderbird got played in Talent League at all. That would have been
Yeah.
history. But I mean,
We are going to get the Flores though, Rick. So you're going to be happy with that, right?
yeah, I am happy with that. But Nomad's also going. So like, I mean, ultimately though, they did need someone to hard breach. So the Nomad, it was either the Nomad or the Zero. I personally would have picked the Zero because in terms of flank launch, Nomad is just 10 miles ahead. You can literally complete Zero with Nomad. Give him like 5 grenades and he's good again. But ultimately, I would have picked the Zero to be going. And now we're gonna see an Echo in play, which has been really rare. Do you know that before the nerf last year, he was consistently the most banned operator in the game, and then they made it visible.
Yeah.
They made the drones visible, and he's just gone. Like, not only is he never banned anymore, he's just not played because teams don't want to rely on a drone that can be seen. So he's gone. Now he's gonna see some play over Thunderbird nonetheless, who is a very solid operator. I think. Honestly, I would have expected. I would have wanted Thunderbird to be played because she is kind of like a pre-nerf Jaeger. So her gun is pretty solid. It's like one of the best guns on defense, and it's comparable to what Jaeger used to have. She has 3 speed. She has impact or C4, which is incredible, and she has a piece of utility you can deploy and forget completely. So she is very strong. But ooh, that is.
I wondered what he was going to do with those holes. Yeah, I thought to myself, he can't surely see Skylight through that, can he? And then we see that yokai go up there, and that's very nice. That's one way to get around the fact that the yokais are now visible. So I'd like this play from Ruhr. That's looking good. I'm going to keep that one for myself. The problem with Echo, of course, is you need him to stay alive for him to be really effective. And you can still use his drones, but the problem is with the yokai, you want to hide them away. So now you have to put them underneath something and bring them out when you really need them. And the problem is if Echo dies, that yokai, if it's hidden away, effectively becomes worthless and of no use. So you need him to stay alive, and in the current meta, people just value the guns and having people that can be flexible rather than having an operator that's just going to sit there for a whole round and go onto a drone at a vital moment. So it makes sense, but Reversed is going to claim the first life as we see Den just outside on Zero opening fire onto, I think that's smoke on that white staircase. It is going to chuck out a gust grenade, which will do a little bit of damage to Den, who will no doubt just fall back. But we've got Buck underneath the site now, just doing loads of damage, as Buck should, trying to move those anchors out of position, and he almost gets a cheeky little kill there onto the player that's just above. But that player is going to get away, and oh no, he's going to floor bang him and get the kill. He does get traded with the frag grenade very, very quickly, but he manages to take down Reversed, the top performing fragger for Ninso in the last map. We are at a 3 versus 4 in favor of Ninso. Let's see if Ruhr can turn this around and manage to execute onto site and get a win here in the last 1 minute of time, Rick.
Well, the Buck being played there was so influential. He managed to get that echo early on. It was huge. Here comes the push in from Iana, but oh wait, sorry, that's not Iana. That's Heyman. Oh, Denko. Everything's going chaotically. I cannot even keep track. Denko got taken out on the Zero. He looked the wrong way, but he got the kill anyway. But everything's going the way of Ninso until those kills began to come out from the Ella and the Jaeger, and all collapsed in favor of Ruhrsports. They got that round, even though it was a 3v4. And I'm just surprised there that how that round turned out. So I was like, why is the smoke looking that way? And he got killed, and I expected the kills to then start to collapse in the favor of Ninso. But then Ruhrsports just pushed back for the retake and they win those. And Ninso, they have definitely shown some improvement over the last map, so they're not directly giving them 1v1s anymore. They're doing a lot more smart plays. So Buck, before the grenade, there's a reason why Buck used to be played 99% of the time before the nerf, and Sledge was never played. Because that shotgun being played, getting the ability to play from below like that with the grenades, he was one of the best operators in the game, hands down. There's literally no reason ever to touch Sledge at all. So with him coming out like that, getting those kills from below with as Reversed, who is also a really good gunner, as we saw on the last map, that was very influential. But it's not enough again, because again, Ruhrsports are just taking these gunfights aggressively, playing against the faces of Ninso, and they win those. And while Ninso did try to refrag this time, they were just not keeping the pace properly, so they could not
10 seconds to
keep
go.
up with Ruhrsports. So ultimately that round went to the defense, and now we're going to be heading out to Kitchen. What do you expect from Kitchen?
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse.
So for Kitchen, I mean, there's typically one or two choices. One is to hard push your way through Bakery, open up that main wall and get in and plant by the counter area, and then try to back out into Bakery and hold it. But the other choice, of course, is Freezer. Now we can see here why Ruhr decided not to ban Vigil like they did on the first map, Oregon, is because they want to actually play him. Now I'm not sure we've seen Ninso do a whole load of drone work. I mean, we can see drones going out, but they have suffered some intel issues, I think, in previous rounds on Oregon, and maybe they're trying to change that around now with bringing out the likes of Zero. But I'm expecting to see Ruhr just try to hold on to the Freezer and Bakery. But I'm expecting a push onto Bakery at this point. We are going to get a top-down clear, as you would expect. Icox is going to feel a whole load of pressure, and Luquetta is going to be the one to come and take him down. But we do have Matrix sitting here on Pixel spot, and I don't think they know that he's here because they don't have the drone game. They know he is now. They know he is here now as he does get that kill onto the player upheld on window. But Reverse, as usual, is going to come along and get that refrag, and he is going to put Ninso one man ahead. When it comes to the man count, we've got a 4 versus 3, but Reverse is ridiculously low on health. Playing as Buck, he is going to be responsible for heading above Kitchen and doing a load of damage in Trainer Museum to make sure that the defenders have moved out of position, and that will then allow them to come in and get a plant off. But interestingly, we are see Den coming in. Oh no, the C4 from below. Reverse goes down. Just as Den starts to open up the freezer hatch, we are on a 3 versus 3. Toucan has diffuser, and it looks like we are actually setting up here for a freezer take, as we can see 2 players on this side of the building, but I don't know where the diffuser is at this point. We're going onto cams to get that intel. Oh, diffuser is in the hands of Toucan, who is currently, looks like he's one of drones in pillar. That looks like Ibana. Yeah, okay, so Toucan is joining the teammates over for a freezer take. We aren't getting a classic Bakery push. Gone 6 being used to great effect there to take out that bulletproof camera. And these electro claws are going to go down to stun grenades. Probably unlikely. What was the point there of throwing that stun grenade, I ask myself? I guess it's to protect Den as he tries to take down the electro claw from above. But it looks like he's done it. That wall is now going to get opened up, and we are going to get a take in through freezer here.
Is it too late though? Because there's 15 seconds left. They have to push it now. The trades are coming back and forth. 2v2. Could be a 1v2. It is a 1v2, and Fox will clean it up immediately. I expected that comeback from Ninso, but again, Ruhrsports shut it down. And that was a very close round still. So while we did see some improvement from the side of Ninso, especially on that roam clear upstairs, while they did lose 1 man, the refrag was ready. And while they nearly lost both players, it was very good there from them to manage to get the kill onto the Vigil. And while then they kept the man count in their favor for most of the round, they really did a poor job there at clearing out that Kate call. I'm not sure how for 30 seconds that Kate call was not taken out. That is
Spent
why
a lot of time on it. Yeah.
If you ban Thatcher as an attacker, you should be banning ban Kate as well. Especially if you're gonna play Zero, then Mira shouldn't be a problem most of the time if you know what you're doing. So it's just they should have been quicker on clearing that Kate call. They had grenades, they had 0 camps, they had everything they needed to do that, and they did. So when they did have to rush into the site, they had nothing. They didn't even try to go for the plant because they could not. Now here's an interesting thing, right? There's an Amaru on board. What do you think? What do you think happened when Amaru was picked?
Well, if I know Den like I think I know Den, I reckon we could see an easy Amaru just rushing into Cocktail for about the front of the building, and then attempt to get a few picks that way. That's the kind of thing that I would expect from a player like Den. It's very much his style. He is coming in from the other side of the map, so it's unlikely he's actually going to be doing that, but it's the kind of thing we love to see, right? Is those big balls out plays where you just launch yourself in. You just yeet yourself in through that window and just go for it. But Den isn't going to be doing that. Don't know what he is going to be doing as Maru's. He's already entered the building. I can only assume it's going to be to climb up through these hatches. Oh no, Reverse has gone down already. No, that's not what you want. Fox just with that early pick, he takes a load of damage in response to that, but it looks like he's managed to get away with his life, and he is going to be allowed to continue with a reign of terror. He's been doing really well in this map so far for kills, I think, even though we're only 2.5 rounds in. He has racked up most of the kills, certainly the opening kills, I think. So he is doing great work here. Here we go. Here is the play. We are getting just a launch into sight and then a cheeky plant behind the diffuser. Once he gets the call that it's all clear, we've got one player on the window there. That's Toucan. He's going to be watching through the fireplace with the Type 89, waiting for someone to try to push in to deny the plant. But they need to be concerned about these players just off site with all of these holes at the bottom of the wall. We've got the, is it Mute? Yeah, it's Mute playing on white stairs with the shotgun. He'll be very easily able to deny that plant. And Lucetta is going to be responsible for taking him out of commission right now, as we can see the player on Mute just up above on the white stairs with Lucetta getting ready to push up. The question is, are they going to get away with it? Matrix is ready and waiting to a cheeky melee hole in the wall. And I don't think this is going to pay off for Ninso unless they could really pick off these players that are surrounding the site right now. There we go. There's the push, but he is stunned and blinded as Chicken does fall. Toucan and Den are the last two players left standing. The player holding the melee hole is distracted, but Cox with the C4 is going to get the double pick. What a play there. Oh no. What a play there from Ruhr, as we had a strategy clearly defined by Ninso, but the execution was just lacking. They couldn't clear the manpower enough to be able to make that play work. Most unfortunate for Ninso. Nice effort, but maybe a touch ambitious.
Really something that it really reminds me of myself sometimes when I look at something like, oh, look at this cool hat trick. What if I could go up there or something of that caliber? And I'm like, hey, what if we had this person here, this person there, cover everything X, Y, Z. But when you have that kind of thing happen in a preconditioned state in your head, it's not going to play out as you would want in real life, because you lose manpower like you did with the Buck. And you're in 3v5, and the enemy has all the counters you haven't thought about. So when you're playing, when you're imagining in your head, right, really imagine what the enemy is gonna counter that, and like what the setup is gonna be. Yeah. So your scenario is not accounting for the enemy doing what they are gonna do. So it's inevitably gonna fail. That's why the best plays have always been one where you kind of look at the enemy's setup and go for it. Now, Team Ninso in that last round, they just looked at, let's go up this hatch. Let's have someone cover the window. But they were lackluster in all ways, because they could not think about how to get that person up white stairs to look at, to defend that player planting. They did not think about taking out the player inside of train, because that was a big issue. They expected that wall to be reinforced as usual and no one playing there, but that was not how Ruhrsports wanted to play that one out. So ultimately, every single imaginary scenario inside of Ninso's head just fell apart because Ruhrsports played it differently than they anticipated. So 3-0 up, Ruhrsports are looking very good on this map right now. It's not even close.
Yeah, like you say, it's great having the play in mind, but you have to be ready to adapt to the site and the setup and what your opponents are doing. So that went against Ninso there. As we launch ourselves into round number 4, we are already 45 seconds in, and we can see we haven't lost any lives. We've still got every single drone is left in the pocket of the attackers, who are bringing 15 stun grenades and 2 frag grenades. And that is a lot of ADS clearance and a lot of eyes that aren't going to be allowed to see stuff if the attackers can use those stun grenades to great effect. We've got the frag grenade cooked, but it's not going to do a lick of damage to anyone that's up above, actually on site. So a bit of a waste there, unfortunately. You've only got 2 of them. You don't want to be wasting them like that, as Risky is going to claim the first life, and that is already all of the frag grenades out of the inventory of the attackers. As Den falls as well, Reverse has taken a shed load of damage as he is trying to clear some anchors from underneath. But Matrix is going to drop Chicken. Cox is going to drop Reverse. And that is a flawless round for Ruhrsports as they take round number 4 in a dominating fashion. Absolutely dominating. There's not really much to say about that round other than oops. for Team Ninso.
There was nothing to say about that round. Like they went with the same attack they did last time, playing the buck down below, and then Ruhrsports peaked them and they won. They didn't even do anything special. They just peaked the players below and won the gunfights. It's nothing special about that round except for the fact that Ninso were completely destroyed in every single gunfight they took, and there's nothing for me to comment on strategic wise. So we're going to be heading straight down to Kitchen, the site that I believe came... Did it come? Yeah, it came pretty close actually, 2v2. This is the site
Yeah,
that
that was
Ninso
close one.
actually nearly managed to win, but...
It was the one they had a chance on,
scrape it.
right? It was the one they had a chance on.
There were 2 rounds, I believe, where they had a chance on, and
Bomb located
this
by
is one of
attackers.
them. But if I know how these maps tend to trend, the first time a team has a chance on a site, the second time they go on it, demoralized, they're gonna get absolutely destroyed. No chance. I'm gonna call it another like 4v1 situation here, but Ninso may surprise me because they are bringing a new composition. So we almost got Capitao again, who is a very strong
5
operator.
seconds to insertion.
He nearly got played, but switched out to Nomad, who, yeah,
Attackers
You're
are
happy with the
moving
Nomad,
to
right?
defuse a bomb.
Yeah.
I'm happy with Nomad.
I like Nomad. She's a great operator. Tremendous operator.
Definitely a very strong operator, so definitely good for Ninso to bring her. And if they do play her, then they gotta be active about playing around them. So if we have a certain area... Oh, the run out!
my
How did you let that happen? How did you let that happen?
That just should not be taking place at this point in the game. Ruhrsports have been given too much confidence, clearly. They are just going for it now, thinking that they can just take absolute liberties with Ninso. As a man with a shotgun just jumps outside at the start of a round and manages to drop. Of all people to drop as well, it's the operator that's supposed to stop people from jumping outside, right? The one operator with the utility to deny it doesn't manage to deny it and falls, leaving us in a 4 versus 3 here. As we said, Ninso actually managed to turn it around and make it work for them. All of a sudden, it's a flurry of kills in the kill feed, and Ninso have done it. Well, there you go. There's a team that can turn lemons into lemonade and just make the impossible happen. So I guess GR to Ninso for that one. That was a weird one. That was a weird round.
How that I can't even begin to analyze that round because that round was a complete mess. First, you have a mute who's not supposed to be doing jumping out over shotgun, and he doesn't get killed. He gets a kill onto someone who's supposed to be preventing that kind of play from happening, and then Ninso just get all the kills.
Defenders, protect your bombs
immediately.
being
Like
defused by attackers.
they just, I didn't even get to see where they got those kills from because they just lit up the scoreboard. So they pushed to the side, and I believe Ruhrsports was just trying to play aggressively, and this time Ninso.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
How?
Like I say, I think it's the confidence from Ruhrsports have got to the point where they feel like they can get away with it. They've realized that when it comes to just straight up gunfights, they've got a higher percentage of winning it. So they're just going for that play, I guess. I mean, it was a ballsy play for the mute to jump out. He got away with it for a little bit longer than he should have done, but he did pay for it in the end. But he shouldn't have been allowed to get one kill at least. It was just a lack of intel and awareness there from Ninso to allow that to happen. But it happened. They got past it. They stormed in, and they just managed to pick off every other player. So fair play to Ninso for just making moves and making stuff happen. We are going to go upstairs to Bar and Cocktail. And this is the last round of the first half. We've seen this site... are we in Bar and Cocktail? No, sorry, we're in Reading and Fireplace. I just seeing so much setup upstairs, I thought it was Bar and Cocktail, but no, as I look at my notes, I realise I'm talking absolute gibberish. As we are getting a second hold here on Reading Room and Fireplace. Clearly, Ruhr deciding not to go back to Kitchen. What have we got happening here? We've got a little setup going on the doorway. This is a rush into sight. Is it going to pay off? No, 2 players are going to fall. Ninso have just decided to throw everything they can at Ruhrsports at this point. Risky's going to get the 3K. Den's the last man standing outside with that ARX. He's going to open fire. He's going to lean left and right. He's going to crouch up and down. He's going to hide here and there, but it doesn't really matter because those bullets of Ruhr Esports just managed to find their targets. And he's not going to win it in a 1 versus 4, and that's another round going to Ruhr as they go 5-1 up at the end of the first half. And this isn't looking good for Ninso. Not at all.
They're two absolutely unthinkable rounds from both teams. So in the last round, I mean, honestly, the rush, I saw him hold out the sledgehammer. I knew exactly what was going to happen. They were going to rush in through reading door and get the plant down early. But Ruhrsports just had everything locked down because they immediately got all those kills. Within a span of 10-15 seconds, they finished the round, killing every single member of Ninso. Their setup allowed them to be prepared for a rush at all times. The Jaeger playing on top of Newbound got 2 kills because he was prepared for it. And when it happened, I think he was just looking for a pick or two if someone opened that door to try to peek in. But then he got two members of Ninso running straight at him, and he just got those kills. So ultimately, it was not really Ninso being sloppy. I mean, they were sloppy with droning. They should have known the Jaeger was up there. But a lot of teams do try to rush that way. But Ruhrsports were just better with the setup. They were prepared for it, and Ninso just really didn't have a chance trying to get in that way. So now we are on 5-1, and Ninso get to go on defense, but they are somehow all put down to 50 HP. I'm sorry, but how did they get down to 50 HP all at the same time?
I reckon it was someone with a rogue shotgun. Probably just doing a little bit more damage than they meant to as they were opening rotates, most likely. I feel like at this point, Ninso have just kind of said, let's just have fun. Let's just have some fun. They are looking outmatched. They are looking outclassed right now against Ruhr, who are just making stuff happen. It seems like whatever Ruhr decide they want to do and make happen, it just happens. So I don't think there's really much Ninso can do at this point, and they're just making sure that they have a good bit of fun with it. Hey, maybe it can pay off. Den is going to get that beautiful pixel kill there through the hole at the top of the wall onto the hatch. It's not often you get away with a kill like that in such a short space of time. Normally you have to sit there and watch it to get a kill, but just running up to it like that, great control from Den, and he's actually going to go for a possible second one here. The stun grenades are just going out all over the place. I think we saw like 4 stun grenades dropped in there. Nothing happened with any of them, but they dropped them in nonetheless, and then they decided not to follow up on them. Everyone still stayed upstairs, but Den is going to get caught out, as is La Quetta, leaving us in a 4 versus 3 now, as Icox's death has been traded very, very effectively by Ruhrsports. Utility is getting taken down, but of course with the low health that these players put themselves on before the round even started, it is pretty much in Ruhrsports' favour. Matrix is going to take some damage. He does take Toucan out of play. That's some very important plant denial taken off of the board there, as he is key to stopping the plant. But Chicken with the SMG-11 is going to answer back, putting us into a 3 versus 2. Red pings are going out. The information is there. You're not going to get a kill with a shotgun at that range. Chicken, I don't think, he's going to get pressured heavily on Pixel, and he's actually going to get forced back. Player with a shotgun against a player up close with an assault rifle is actually going to get scared to take that fight and is going to back out. All of these players now just stacking up in the one area with very low health. It's not looking good. I kind of want to say that it's man advantage to Ruhrsports and looking good for them, but when you look at the health bars, well, never mind. Matrix and Risky are just going to come in and clean up. Don't even get to finish it. Don't even get to finish it. That's end of round, and we see Ruhrsports. Is that match point? Or are they on 5 now?
It is match point.
It's match point, right? It is match point.
Yep. 6-1.
Already. There was me saying that Ninso were going to take it to like 7-4. It could be the 7-1. Could be the 7-1. Disappointing.
I do expect the 7-1. It was just a good cleanup there from Ruhrsports. So they just... While they lost an initial player on a very nice shot from Nagoyo, he reaggressed and got punished for it. And then whenever anyone else from Ninso tried to do a retake, they got immediately killed. This didn't happen. And the Frost, I'm not sure if jumping down there was the best play, because then you would have to go back up red, where you would have
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
If you do, then you would be better off. He would have been better off swinging new Bauk. He would have probably would have had a chance to kill the ace who was 1 HP against that C1, because that C1 is 45 damage. It would have killed him for sure. He would have had a chance against that. And instead he just jumped down. Honestly, I've done that myself several times when I panicked. So I guess now that Ninso are pretty downbeaten in
Attackers
terms of
have discovered
mentality,
the location of a bomb.
you can expect a lot of misplays like that to happen. And now they're down 6-1. So, unfortunately, I do not see a comeback happening anytime soon.
Well, I think we're
If they
going
do,
to. Well, I think we're going to see an adaptation here. I mean, we've got 3 C4s on the board, so I think we're going to see a bit more presence on the second floor. Reversed has just dropped, and I think that's just the way it's going to go. I think we're going to see a bit more plays from down below to try to stop the attack from underneath. I think that's what we're likely to see here. Now, Reversed is going to go for a cheeky little spawn peek, it looks like, but he isn't going to find anything out there as the attackers are making their way over from the other side of the building. And as you'd expect on Cafe, head up to the roof, open up the hatches with Sledge, just drop in. We've got Laketa playing on Mozzie, who's going to go for that C4 out of the hatch. He's waiting to see which one's going to open first before... He's waiting for the sound cues. There it is. He's going to set it off, but it's not going to do anything. So an unfortunate waste of utility there for Laketa, or Laqueta. That could have been used much more effectively a little bit later on in the game, but it is what it is, as Matrix is going to claim another life. That is Chicken taken off the board, so that's a C4 that's going to be wasted before it even gets tossed. And Ruhrsports are just taking early control here. They want to close this down. They want to get off the game. They want to go and have a bit of fun doing something else. As Reversed, the only player left with the C4. They know there's a player outside this window. He's going to peek it. He's not going to chuck a C4 out just yet, but he is going to go for that peek along with his teammate on the staircase. And he's not going to get it, but he is going to get taken down as he pushes his way up the white stairs. Now, that position is going to be known, and the trade is going to come in from Laqueta. Very good teamwork there. And game sense to know what's going to happen, but Den, as he makes his way up the white stairs, is taken out by Matrix. Risky claims one, leaving Laqueta all on his own, but again, Matrix is outside just waiting for the pick, and it is going to happen, and that's the 7-1 to Ruhrsports. GG, an unfortunate showing for Team Ninso, but as you talked about at the start, Rick, top of the majors versus top of the minors, you got to expect a result like this. I mean, I didn't, but a normal person would.
I did say this map could have gone 7-0, right? I got close.
You did, yes, you did. I expected better from Ninso. I'm disappointed.
I mean, they did show some adaptation. So they, again, like I said before, they got better at refragging. That is the worst part about them in the last map. So they got better at this map. But again, they just still could not win these gunfights. Ruhrsports had everything covered, had every avenue of attack just figured out. And Ninso just cannot keep up. So that was a map for today. 2-0 up for Ruhrsports, and they're going to be moving on to the semifinals against none other than the 3-time Talent League champion Noetic. I think every time we talk about it now, we have to add 3-time Talent League champion Noetic in every sentence.
3x.
Just because we want to make them seem scary. I mean, they, you've won it 3 times, Talent League champion. So it's going to be a tough match for Ruhrsports to come up. But if they really do have what it takes to win, then they will win. But that is not going to be a match for me to cast. That's going to be someone else. And it will be, hopefully, should be a good match.
Not me. It's not going to be me either.
But that was
hey,
the map.
so we are going to Go ahead.
We're gonna have an interview with the victors.
Oh no, we brought him in here. Okay, we are ready to go.
Hello.
Hey, Icox, how you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you. You?
GG's. That was a great game. 2-0. Yeah. How's the team feeling after that victory?
I think we're feeling really good because we prepared us for the game, but obviously we wanted to play Bang and not Cafe in Oregon.
We would love to have seen it.
I would love you to ban Oregon and then go to your map, but ultimately,
So
sorry, you go on.
No, it's all right. Go for it, Rick. Go. It's fine.
Okay, I do want to ask, what's up with the Sophia ban?
Because we know that they are playing really aggressive, and I called it. So we got slapped last days with Sophia LMG, and I actually don't want to play against it at the moment.
It is a great gun.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah.
This is the only point.
Yeah, the Sophia ban, I mean, we were kind of scratching our heads. I mean, when it comes to utility, there's probably better bans you could make. But the fact is, she is, I mean, we did talk about her being like a one-woman army at one point, and maybe that is just what you're concerned about. The number of bullets that you can send, into a site or whatever with that LMG is insane. So maybe that's what it was. You guys are clearly a very tactical team. We saw you always working as a five-man. It's very rare that you would split up and do things with like 2 people on one side of the map, 2 on the other. It's like you were very, very cohesive as a team. Is that something that you guys spend a lot of time on?
Yes, but it's not perfect at the moment. We try to practice so often we can, because our communication isn't the best at the moment. The one round on Oregon, the 1v3, wasn't the best from our team play.
Was that is that the one where it was like a
Lucy.
was
Yeah,
that early
Lucy.
on?
Yeah,
It was
the
early
Lucy.
on.
I think the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. Also, the exciting round on that one was where you got down to the, I think it was a 5 versus 2 in that last round on Oregon, and then somehow you just managed to lose 4 players and end up in the 1 versus 2. I
Yes,
think it was Matrix that was left. He played very well for time at the end. Or was it yourself?
Yep. He was
was
left.
Matrix.
Yeah, Who was the last guy?
He played it very, very smart. Den had no idea what was going on. Didn't even have the diffuser, and just couldn't find him. So yeah, that was unfortunate. We saw you guys. I think it was you guys. You picked Thunderbird and then Six picked.
Yep.
Why did you choose not to play Thunderbird? Do you think she could be a good comp operator? Is it someone you think you might get used to, or what's your thoughts on Thunderbird?
Thunderbird is actually a good operator, but we wanted to play Echo, and I thought that Thunderbird is a good operator. We're not a spec to 6-pick. But for the future, Thunderbird will be played, I think.
That's good to hear. We were talking about her in the break and whether or not she's, a good operator to bring into comp, and I'm not sure. I'm interested to see what people do. I like it when new ops do get brought in and embraced. So it'd be good if we can see some Thunderbirds play in play. We saw you play. Well, we saw Flores come out a couple of times, but actually I think it was Ninso that played Flores. Rick was very disappointed. He was wanting to see loads of Flores play. Is there a reason why you don't bring the Flores?
Yeah. We know that they're not playing that much on the utility. We know that they are a really aggressive team, peeking everything, and so we don't need it actually.
Sounds like you've really done your homework on Ninso.
Yeah, for sure.
Good. That's what we expect at this level. That's what we expect. Before I hand over, I want Rick to ask you a load of questions, but before I hand over to Rick, I just want to ask you one thing. How did it come about where you guys decided that you would have Mute jump out of a window and just start shooting at people with a shotgun at the start of a round?
I don't know what he was doing, but it worked for the 1 kill.
It did. We were and the brilliance was that he killed the one operator that's supposed to deny jump outs. He killed Nomad. That's the one operator that's there to stop that sort of thing. Anyway, sorry, Rick. Is there anything you want to ask? I'll hand over to yourself. Sorry.
What are expectations going up against Noetic in the next few days?
Yeah, we want to win, but we know that Noetic is a very strong team. It will be a hard match, but I think everyone can win against everyone. So, yeah, I think we have chances if we play better than today, and I hope we can win this match.
Do you have any surprises for them? Any?
No?
You don't have to spoil it for us, but do you have any surprises for them?
Yep, we have.
Okay, good. Well,
So
that
that's the
would be
thing
it for
I always
me,
ask.
basically.
Yeah, that's the thing I often ask is like, is there anything you can tell us without telling us it that you've got in store for the team that you're playing next in playoffs? It's like you can't say anything, but you want to ask. You want to ask if there's going to be something.
I know I can't.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's what it's all about.
Okay.
So I guess one last thing that I wanted to ask. or say at least, is yeah, you guys had a great game today. I think what a lot of it came down to was just you guys were just a lot better at winning gunfights. It seemed that Ninso really struggled in the gunfights with you. You had some real hero plays from Matrix. I mean, Matrix just frag after frag after frag, especially on Oregon. I mean, you all had great moments, but Matrix seemed to pop up a hell of a lot in the kill feed, along with Fox. I think on Cafe. I think he did a lot of good work on Cafe. So you guys clearly very strong team, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you do against Noetic. Saying if you can play better than you did today, I struggle to see how you can do much better than you did today, to be fair. You did really well. But you're a top major team against a top minor team, so there's a bit of an imbalance there, I guess.
Yep.
But you played well, very well. It was good to watch, so thank you very much for giving us a great
Yeah,
game to
thank you.
spectate.
Yeah, thank you too.
Before we wrap up, is there anything that you'd like to say to the fans, to the stream, to Noetic before you come up against them?
It will be a good match against the Noetic, and thank you for the support in the chat. I know that some people were in the chat, some friends,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
and the I don't know. I think the teacher from one of our players was in the chat.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they enjoyed it, and yeah, you certainly put on a good show. Certainly towards the end on Cafe, it was like Ninso had kind of thought, nah, let's just have some fun. We're not going to win this. And you guys, you clearly confident. You just thought, yeah, we're going to win this. Let's just have some fun. It made for a nice finish. So yeah, GG's and congratulations on making it to Noetic.
Yeah, thank you, and GG's to Team Ninso.
Thank you. All right, we'll close it there. Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening, whatever you're going to do, and we'll see you in a couple of days.
Yeah, hope so. See you.
Indeed, we will.
Bye. All right, so that is all we have. So we've got Noetic versus Ruhr on the 22nd. And I think that's actually our next game. That's our next game that we're playing, right? Oh, no, we've got another one. Sorry, what is it? That's it. QVG against Blue Jays is going to be our next game, and that's going to be tomorrow night. And then on the 22nd, we will have Noetic versus Ruhrsports. And if tonight's anything to go by, that should be a really good game to watch. So before we close, is there anything, Rick, you want to get out there?
Not really. I would be very excited to watch the semifinals. Of course, that would be quite a banger game. I'm looking forward to that, of course. But otherwise, again, today the match kind of saw it coming, but it was fine to cast nonetheless. So, and it was a pleasure casting with you too.
Gee, thank you very much. Who are you before we close? Who are you picking tomorrow between QVG and Blue Jays?
I would say Eeny, Miny, Mo, QVG.
QVG, it sounds like, is what production are telling us at least.
Yeah, and I picked right. I mean, I didn't pick. I just flipped the coin in my head. But yeah, QVG it is. And
the virtual coin flip. I'm going to be different. I'm going to back Blue Jays because I went opposite you guys tonight. I'm going to do it again. I'm happy to be wrong, but I'm going to go Blue Jays. All right. Well, before we close, do make sure that you're following Talent League on Twitch and Twitter, and that you are back here tomorrow night at the same time for a best of 3. It's the second quarter final between QVG and Blue Jays. Make sure, like I say, you're following on Twitter so you get the notifications. Also, make sure you're following Mr. Rick and Morty on Twitter. Make sure you're following me on Twitter so that you can see what we're up to when we're going to be casting these games. And yeah, we'll see you back here tomorrow night, 7 o'clock CEST, for another best of 3 between QVG and Blue Jays. Thank you very much to everyone for watching the game tonight. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as Rick and I have. It's been great fun, and we will see you in a future cast. Thank you very much.